Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 8 of Leverage with my good mate Lewis Bell, and I am Damien Johns. And tonight we have our good friend Darren Stride joining us as our guest host. How are you, Darren?
Very well, thank you very much.
That's good. Welcome, mate. How are you, Lewis?
Mate, I am bloody good. How are you?
Oh, I'm loving it. I'm seriously loving it. I missed you all week long.
Did you say you're on holidays?
I am on holidays. Yeah, holidays until probably I don't know when. Maybe late January. Happy days.
Life of a teacher, eh? Hard
Yeah,
work, hard
yeah,
work.
yeah, it's good. So yeah, mate. So yeah, holidays for me. So you'll be seeing a lot more of me on the chats in the charts. I spent 2.5 hours with the crew today, just idle chit chat, really. Not really too much happening. Just whoever was around jumped on and asked some questions, spoke a bit of rubbish. So we can do that a little bit more often over the next couple of days and see where it takes us. But hopefully there was some value shared today, some of which we'll repeat tonight. So let's go straight to our co-host, Mr. Darren Stride. How are you, mate?
Not too bad, thank you.
That's good. And can you tell us a little bit about yourself? For example, where you're from, and just let us know who you are.
Yes, I'm from the UK. I've been in Australia for 10 years, and I've been trading for 9 weeks now. Chris O is my mentor, and I've just been just trying to sort of catch the train, get on board, and sort of go with it. I'm just learning as much as I can, just doing as many sort of hangouts as I can, spending time with Chris O a lot, which is great. I love it. We just sort of get on together and just chart up and chat and stuff like that. I've sort of had a little sort of entry into the NFT market, which I'm really enjoying.
Oh yeah, which NFT did you buy?
I bought the Meta Bounty Huntress.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, can't go wrong. Can't go wrong.
Yeah, no, I think so. Yeah, and my next thing I'm going to buy, probably, hopefully, in the next couple of days, will be the secret agent. I'm going to get a secret agent.
Yeah.
I've also got the what's it called?
I've got a Metal Lab agent. There's a bit of ETH waiting for me in the background there in the wallet. You got one, Lewis? You got something there?
Yeah, I got a bounty hunter.
Yeah, I had a bounty hunter and stupid me sold it at 0.9 ETH. What a rookie.
Oof, mate.
Yeah, I know. I
2.6.
got in and that was my introduction to NFTs, but
They're if you hold any of them at the moment, they're paying really, really well reflections. They're just loading you up at the moment. It's great.
Yeah, it's it's one of those things. I wish I bought 10 of them.
Oh, bloody oath.
So Darren, did you find out the name of it, mate?
Yeah, sorry, it was the Fat Cat's Capital. I bought a Fat
Yep.
Cat's Capital and a dead fish,
Yep.
and staked the Fat Cat, and now we're just earning catnip. So that I think is so that we can get on the whitelist.
Yeah, right.
Imagine
Now-
trying to tell someone who's not initiated in this space about what you're doing.
Yeah.
Chris O
Just
and I
look
were
at you
saying
like
the same
you're a
thing.
lunatic.
Chris O and I were having a conversation the other day about what was it, like Care Bears, and something about Care Bears or something. And we were talking like two grown men, like, just like if anyone else could hear this conversation, they'd be like, "What are you even talking about?"
Connected to the other screen.
But when you two are sleeping over each other's house and you take your
I
Care
know,
Bear,
that's what I'm trying to.
it's one of those things that everyone's going to be able to understand it. So look, mate, you're based in WA, did you say?
That's right. Yeah.
So it's about 6:30 where you are right now. So and do you see any of the other traders in Western Australia at all?
I recently met Jaden. I saw him in the gym last night, I think it was. Yeah, last night.
Yeah, right.
And it was really nice actually, because that's the first time I've actually stood and spoken to him. I've seen him in the gym before I knew he was in the group.
Yeah, right.
And we sat and we talked. Well, we stood up and we talked for 20 minutes, half an hour, and it was really good. And he's honestly such a nice guy. Really, kind of not how I thought he'd be. But really, really nice guy, really smart, really knows what he's on about, what his direction is. And
Disclaimer, you probably didn't think that he was not going to be nice. just the way you worded
Yeah,
that.
no.
He was really
He looks
nice.
mean. He
Not what
looks
I
mean.
expected him to be.
He looks a bit mean to me. Do you know? He
Yeah,
looks
yeah,
like
yeah.
he's
Yeah, he was actually a special guest 2 weeks ago, I think. So, yeah, he's a good guy, Jaden. And him and Valerio actually sent me a nice photo from Dubai. So, yeah, Jaden was waving me the salute in the background. So that was really nice to see. Um, mate, what style of trader would you say you are, or what would you say to someone who's new to the space, or like what have you learned in the 9 weeks you've been involved?
Well, I mean, I've sort of explored different avenues, and I've watched different people, and they've got different trade styles, and I've kind of tried out bits and pieces, and I watched Deanna, and then like for instance, she did a really good call on RSI. Yeah. And then for the next kind of week, I was like, RSI bananas. I just didn't do any sort of trading without RSI. But I've gone back to just a really simple. I mean, you and I spoke about this, a while ago. Just support, resistance, trend, fibs, and candles.
Yeah, nice.
And I'm pretty much there. I like that. I like sort of break and retest. Looking for break and retest, and yeah, I suppose I'm just trying to keep it because I kind of every time I try and sort of go a bit further into it, I just get a bit scattered, and I just kind of start losing trades, and I'm just get a bit all over the place. So I thought I'd wind it back a bit. It's sort of in my trade plan to just be easy.
You can get lost in your own analysis, can't you? So when you try and kind of overdo it, you can really think to yourself, oh no, I had 3-4 confirmations, and then suddenly something's kind of it's just not the right time for a certain indicator to actually trigger. So when that happens, sometimes you can actually doubt yourself, and then your mindset's not the same because you're doubting the trade, and then you might go, oh, I shouldn't enter, or you hesitate, in which case your whole position size can move. So that's good advice, mate. So thanks for putting that out, because a lot of people are in a similar position in that they're overcomplicating, their analysis. And particularly when you're new, I know that I had enough lines on my chart to create a little ladder. But I'm like, oh, there's support and there's resistance and there's previous support and there's the RSI and the MACD and the Elliott waves, and it's like, my head just went boom. And when I stripped it back, I actually was a lot more effective. So yeah, that's a good plan, mate.
I think it's worth mentioning as well, though. I was watching Samuel. Is it Samuel Thompson?
Yeah.
And his style of trading, he's got 4 indicators. He's got RSI, MACD, and just couple of others. Yeah. And when he goes through, when he flicks through, he's looking for divergence before he'll even start to trade up, to chart up to do CA.
Yeah.
So which I thought was cool. I don't know anything about it, but I just thought it was a real interesting, way that he trades. That's something sure. I haven't really sort of come across at all.
Yeah, right.
In my short time,
yeah,
sort of thing. But
yeah, I'll have to ask him about it. Maybe he can jump on one night and show us what he does. So have you got any trades, mate, that you might want to show us? You shared something today in the chat. Is that for the first one you've shared with the world?
Yes, it was. Yeah, that was the first. I think I might have shared one just when I first kind of arrived, but
yeah,
I haven't really started.
You accidentally pressed the blue button and sent it.
Yeah. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah. So you shared a nice little retest today. Have you got that one handy? You might want to share the screen with us and go from there.
Let me just remember what that was, because I've been charting up quite a bit. Hang on a second. Oh, bloody forgot what it was now.
Damo, you might just have to check that participant screen sharing's on.
I've got it. Was it sand? Is that what it was?
Too good.
Was it sand? Hang on a second.
It was Luna.
It was Luna.
It was Luna. Thank you, Anastasia.
The voice of God in the background.
Let me just find it. Hang on. Oh, sorry, I should be more organised in this.
No, that's all right, mate. Just share your screen, and basically, I'll start to talk through it for you. That there's a lot of break and retests to both sides of the support or resistance line actually, and this afternoon we were just chilling and hanging out, just casually. Darren actually said to me, "Oh, what do you think about this one?" And I said, "Oh yeah." I said, "Share it." And I said to him, "Have you shared one before?" And he said, "No." And I said, "Right, do it. Now's your time." And basically, it's one of those ones that it could, in fact, be a retest. Trend seems to have broken, and it's not a bad little one to look at actually. You got it there, mate?
Oh, share screen. Huh? Yeah.
Yeah, share screen. Double click the one you want. No good? How good's live TV? How good is it?
Oh,
Any
it's
bloopers?
not doing it.
Yeah, do you double click on the one you want to share?
Yeah, share screen, but it's got an exclamation mark against desktop, all the desktops.
Okay, that's all right. I'll do it. I'll share it for you. You can just talk me through it. So this is actually the one that you shared today on the chat. So this here is you want to talk us through it, mate?
Yeah, it's the resistance line. And
Yep.
I just happened to spot just as we were going through, I just noticed that it had come back down, it bounced back up, just retested off that resistance there.
Yep.
And yeah, I'm looking at it now on my screen, and I didn't take the trade, but had I have done, I would be facing in profits at the moment.
Right, so it has fallen since then, right? All right, we'll pull it
Yeah.
up in a sec. Lewis, you want to get that up just so we can the screen, that is, just so we can have a look at that in a sec. So the trend line through here is broken down. It's come back, it's retested this area, fallen short, and then come back and retest resistance. And Darren's saying that it's come down. So we'll actually pull that one up so we can have a look at it. Just stop sharing. All right.
So Luna.
Yeah, Luna.
All right. Here we go. So what we're looking at, we had the resistance on top.
Yep. So before that little test there, it retested. Yeah. So it retested, and it's in that little triangle.
Were we on the hourly? Was that an hourly chart?
Was hourly, yeah.
Hourly, yeah. So yeah, there was a sneaky retest there a couple of hours ago this afternoon. So yeah, he had resistance there.
Yep. Let's see what you're talking about, that sort of level there.
Beijão, filho. Desculpa a correria que me atrasei.
So yeah, he would be in profit at the moment, and potentially if that trend line was to break, that Lewis has just drawn there, then happy days. Bob's your uncle.
Yeah, you sort of have a bit of a triangle there, eh? Like,
yeah, there's a lot of triangles at the moment, so it's just one of those things. We're keeping an eye on it. But yeah, well, look, mate, there's still maybe an entry there. So just set your position below that trend line. If it breaks that trend line, don't take it until it probably breaks that trend line and retest it again. But you can also set it as a potential long if it turns around and goes the other way out of that wedge as well. So maybe a good thing that you didn't enter it when you did, and there's still maybe an opportunity there for you to ride that one down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also did did have a quick look at Dash. You and I were talking about it earlier on.
Yep.
Yeah, it's kind of come down a little further, just hit the trend line. Just hit the trend line there. So yeah, I don't know if it's going to go. It's going to continue on up the trend line to the resistance there, or perhaps break through. It's just a case of waiting, I think.
Yeah, it's not a bad bullish setup. If BTC gives you a bit of a bias, like it's quite a strong resistance level. Given the fact like you've got previous structure back here as well. But yeah, it's trending really nicely. Like if you use RSI's had a nice pullback. You're heading back towards that fucking
undersold area.
Yeah, oversold area. That's what I'm thinking of. Heading back down towards that oversold area, which is what you want to see if you're going to use that indicator as an indication of like a bullish continuation. You want to get down into that oversold area. So it's looking not too bad for a long if BTC plays the game.
Yeah. Speaking of BTC, I'll jump in and share something that I have noticed with Bitcoin. So Bitcoin, as far as it's going, it's actually going quite solidly left to right in a consolidation zone, so trending sideways. But just had a look at it and I noticed there's this channel. So Shams was talking this morning about a bit of a bullish push to it, which it does have. So it just may be worth you just acknowledging that on your TA that there is, in fact, a channel there that's being respected. So I don't know where it's going to go out of this. This will be an interesting thing in the next couple of hours, depending if it bounces up or so it could bounce up or it could, in fact, fall and break and come down this way. So just something to consider when you're drawing Bitcoin up a little bit later or while we're talking. So yeah, it's in a bit of an interesting point within that channel at the moment. Just a couple while I got the screen, and then Lewis can weave his magic. Just a couple of things that I've charted up today. Starting here. So I kind of am looking for this trend to continue to break. It's kind of retested a couple of times and fallen through on AVAX. So I'm kind of looking for just a short-term short here back to previous structure.
We can still only see.
I can only see
Bitcoin chart,
BTC.
mate.
Oh, sorry, mate.
First time.
Mate.
You'll get better, mate. Don't worry.
No, yeah, I should have. Well, hang on. You know why? Because I'm on the wrong screen. That's the screen. I've got too many screens.
Yeah, don't you have like 11 screens or something now?
12. Okay, let's start that again. So over here we have this trade called AVAX, which I'm actually looking at a short. Should it break down out of this trend line? Sorry, I'm just not well tonight. That's all right. I still work when I'm not well, unlike most. So so this one here is an interesting little wedge on Atom. This to zoom out right out. This trend line that I've drawn actually respects from the inception of this coin. So what I've noticed about this coin is this trend line that's gone right through this coin has actually been respected the whole way through. So I've kind of left it there, and what's happened at the moment is that there's a bit of a wedge. Oh, I did it again. Bit of a wedge forming on this one that could, fall out or it could go up, whatever. But it's just something to keep an eye on because it's starting to squeeze up into that zone. Excuse me. Badger's kind of right down the bottom, so I'm always reluctant to trade coins that sit all the way down here, just because there's kind of not a lot to the left to go by. It's trying to pop its head above the resistance line, so yeah, that's just something that I kind of caught my eye. CSPR is sitting in a bit of a pennant formation at the moment, so I just kind of thought that might bounce off. It could very well go the other way as well, but just something that I'm kind of having a look at. Feel free to kind of screenshot my list there while I'm talking. This is another one that just kind of doesn't seem to be able to kind of strike too much. There's a little bit potentially big inverted hammer here, as well as a change in structure in some sort of kind of a change there. So I'm just kind of keep an eye on that one for a potential short-term short. It could obviously come all the way down to here, but I just wanted to be conservative really. In the short term, just look for some sneaky short 3-to-1s. Dash, this one is one of those ones that, again, it's hovering around this support resistance line. Excuse me. Shouldn't probably try and talk so much. And it's one of those ones that go either way. I actually entered this back up here. So where it's sitting at the moment looks good for me. This is the daily, but if you look at it on the hourly, I entered it up here because it came up and it just retested again. So I kind of took advantage of that little retest on that same line there. I didn't actually draw the support line in, but one of these ones that you could look at as taking potential profits along the way. And I just explained this afternoon that if you're going to do that, pretty much I'll just talk through it, and I might show you another time. On OKX, you have to cancel your take profit completely, and then you go back in and reinsert your take profit, and you can slide your slider to 50%. And then you can, so that might be at this line or this line, wherever you may be. And then you can set another take profit down lower, and then another one at your actual take profit. So I'll talk through that. I might actually do a video or something on that, and then I'm able to share that with you guys in the next couple of days. This one here, it kind of went against the short theme, and just because it's kind of holding up a little bit with a hammer up here, another hammer here, so there's potential that this one might go against the rest of them. So I'm just kind of keeping an eye on Engine. Ethereum, I actually told my group about this triple top last night. I said to them before they go to bed, they need to short Ethereum. All of my group did that except me, because I got busy doing other things and I actually forgot about it. So
Typical.
I'm in the business of making other people money. Happy days. So yeah, a large majority of my group actually took this position, and it was not a bad one with a little bit of leverage. So, you know, something like that was a pretty safe bet, I thought, last night, and it came good. So it was also bouncing off the top of that triangle that's now formed, but it's, yeah, it was almost like it's not enough momentum to push through, and not enough momentum to push through. A good rejection, come up again for another attempt, just didn't make it. The wicks were telling the story, and it was a juicy, simple rejection trade, and Damo didn't take it. What a goose. This one here, I just wanted to kind of highlight. I've just left this here purely to highlight something. So during the week, I actually shared again this one with my little group of traders, and what happened here is that I entered about this candle here. This was on the 15-minute I entered. So I entered just prior to this one here. It came up, and because I was on leverage, it actually stopped it out, and then it actually came and did this. So I actually saw this sharp fall. I saw that this had come like almost like a horseshoe, but it didn't kind of penetrate. Then these candles on the 15-minute kind of indicated that there was a horseshoe again, and I took it, and I would have won it. But what I failed to realize that it was actually bouncing off the support line. So if you look at this as a support line, just put it in there, it actually had bounced a couple of times. One, kind of two, three, bounced off it, and it actually didn't. Stupid me, and lesson learned, because I should have been thinking bigger picture. If it's going to bounce off that as a horseshoe after almost the third time, it's probably going to punch up. So I could have won this part of it, but I also could have ridden that one up too. So when you're looking at trades, I guess the advice that I'm trying to give you is, don't just look at the short-term trade. Look at potentially where it could go after your trade plays out, and don't be afraid to set another one, either straight away or one that, you know, bounces one off. Like if you're trading a channel, you've obviously got a long, and then you can start your short at the top of that. So just something to be alert of or to. This one here also created a channel that's fairly long. So just another one that I'm just kind of keeping an eye on. This one goes back to the 28th of November, so around a week. So this has been kind of trading up this channel for about that period of time. It's kind of what strikes my interest with this one is that it's kind of respected this angle, and then here it seems to want to just flatten out. So if you what I mean by that is it didn't come up, it's just come back down, and it's come back through the channel, respected the support line, bounced up to here. So I'm just wondering if it might be thinking about going back up there. But again, it's just one of those ones I'm just going to keep an eye on. Lewis, I'll throw to you, mate. You got something?
Yeah, mate. Yeah, I do. I'll show up. I'll share my screen.
If anyone's got any questions about any of those while I've still got the floor, feel free to ask me now. It's just easier to do it now rather than come back. And by all means, jump in.
Gabriella asked a question.
Oh,
Damo.
in the chat. Yeah, righto. Sorry.
Yeah.
All right. How do you trade the channel? Yeah, basically you can just trade it up and down, like where it touches the top, touches the bottom. Just like a sideways consolidation channel. You're exactly right. Yeah. Yeah. So if anyone else has got any questions for the chat, or just yeah. All right, Lewis, you're on, man.
All right. Cool. So first of all, like my analysis on BTC, what I'm sort of seeing. So it's in a bit of like a consolidation period here for me. This is on the 4 hourly, so it's sort of stuck in this zone. We've found like a high area up here, around that sort of, what's that, 17,200 to sort of 17,400. That's a bit of a top at the moment. And we've got this sort of EQ bottom at the moment around that sort of 16.8 to sort of 16.9 range down there. So EMAs are pretty awesome to look at. So this is the macro time scale. So this is 4 hour chart. So you see we've come up, we've tested the 200 EMA up here. We've come back down. We've found support right off that 50 EMA. So we're sort of between the two EMAs at the moment, which I use a fair bit lately in my trading. So we're sort of just stuck sideways. So this is a little bit of a no trade zone for me, because I'm sort of a bit unsure of a direction. When we look at like indicators and that sort of stuff, like RSI down here, RSI is following the same market structure as what the chart's following. Okay, so that's sort of looking bullish, except our last sort of turn here, we've had like our newest high is slightly lower than our previous high. So it sort of like looks like we might be just starting to get that change of sort of market structure on the indicator, which could potentially be indicating a reversal. And then you look at I've been playing around a bit with divergence and that the last couple of weeks as well. And there's a strategy built around this this one down the bottom, which is called ultimate oscillator, which is basically like a short-term momentum oscillator. So it's sort of like your RSIs and your MACDs and all that sort of stuff rolled into one. Okay, so and this is showing like that structure as well, where it's a slight down, slight change in market structure on ultimate oscillator, showing us those sort of lower highs as well. So to me, probably a slightly bearish bias at the moment, but I'm not really sold because we're still in uptrend. So a bearish scenario for me is a break of this level, break of trend. Some sort of scenario like this. That's where I'd sort of be looking to get back into shorts, and that's probably going to take a couple of days to play out, something like that. Otherwise, potential long scenario is break up through that zone there, and then I'm probably looking for longs. But in saying that, there's a couple of coins that I charted up earlier today that sort of fit either narrative. So my red list is potential shorts that I'm looking at. So comp is one. I'll get rid of all of these indicators for now. So comp is one, nice and simple. Like we've just get that off. I've drawn all over my chart. Nice and simple. Like we've had a bit of a support level there that we've lost, and price has just not been able to regain that. So we're just going sideways below that support level. We've lost the EMAs. It's just looking really, really weak. Still in a strong downtrend. Potential for a short on that if BTC has a bit of a bearish bias, but that's not one of my favorite setups that I had. It just doesn't look very strong to me. BSV is another one. We have this sort of zone through here where all of these wicks have come down. So this is sort of like my whole support zone through there. We've lost that zone. We've retested it, and strong downtrend. And that retest lines up with our fibs. So that's a potential short zone for me there. These are all quite big trades too. Like I charted most of these on the 4 hour time frame. So these would be sort of bigger position, like longer hold positions. So that's another one looking pretty weak. Potential short opportunity there if we don't have any bullish sort of momentum through that zone. Doge, very similar as well. Big bearish push down. We've had a buyer recovery, not very strong. We've sort of hit that 38, sort of 50 fibs area. And it sort of looks like we're potentially rejecting from there. Big wicks to the top all around that zone as well, which is an indication of sellers. So one potentially to watch. I'm not really sure of like a take profit area on that because Doge is a bit of a risky one lately, especially like all it takes is Elon to tweet about it or someone to read something too far into something to do with Twitter and Doge pumps. So I mean, it's a bit risky, the TA on Doge at the moment, but because it just it's really volatile with all of the Twitter stuff that's going on. So but yeah, just based off TA looking a bit bearish. ENS big pennant there. Same thing. Had that big bearish push down. We've had a pretty weak buy recovery. Like it's just sort of been slowly crawling up. We've reached this sort of EQ zone, which aligns with our 50 fibs there. It's rejected off that 200 EMA, which is quite a strong EMA to refer to. Potential for a slightly deeper retracement. I'm thinking like potentially up to like that 618 before a rejection. But if there's a bearish scenario there, it's somewhere sort of in this zone. So I'm sort of watching that one at the moment. That's a pretty sort of clean setup for like a bit of a bear flag going on there. So that's what I'm watching, like potential take profit areas. Like you could just take that sort of like a horseshoe, just sort of back down to the 0, monitor sort of trade there. But once again, like that's a big time frame sort of trade. ONT, similar again, big sort of bear flags, pennant setup. We've hit that sort of support resistance zone, that EQ zone through there, aligns with 38.2 fibs. Once again, potential for a slightly deeper retracement there because normally with these horseshoes, stuff like that, you're sort of looking for like 5618 if you're looking for horseshoe trades. So, potentially, if it's rejecting off a 38.2 level, it's potentially like quite a strong continuation down. So you could be pretty adventurous with your take profits on a trade like that. And then Link as well. So this is just, once again, not my favorite setup, but we had an uptrend. We found this EQ zone up here, which we've rejected off. We've broke that uptrend. We've retested that trend and we've rejected off that. So my entry off a trade like this will be loss of this support level and a retest sort of there. And then that's where I'll be getting in the trade, like off a rejection off that resistance level there. So clear that previous structure, take profit, like somewhere sort of down around that zone. You could get a 3-to-1 out of that. So, but these are just the ones I'm watching for a potential short scenario. There's a few pretty clean sort of setups there. And then I've got there's a couple that I was watching for potential long scenario as well. So if we get a few big bullish candles on get a few big bullish candles on BTC, then there's a couple that could potentially be prime. A lot of ascending triangles around like this. Damon and I were talking about this just before. Lots of triangles that we can see out there. So Neo's one, it's just perfectly rejected off this resistance level over and over again. Remember our analogy of a support or resistance level. Every time price hits it, it basically takes hit points off it, so it makes it slightly weaker. So we've been chipping away at this for quite a long time, and probably every time we hit that, probability increases that we're going to break to the upside in an ascending triangle like that. Okay, so if we have a bullish scenario, potential for Neo to break to the upside, we've just reclaimed that 50 EMA, so that's looking quite nice. So one to watch there. OP. So we've had this resistance zone through here. Price chipped away at it. We've had that breakthrough and we've had that retracement. Now we're at that retest zone on that new support level. So a couple of potential areas to manage that trade if you got in a long there. Once again, like these are all 4-hour time frames, so they're quite sort of long-term trades if you got into them. But that's sort of, for me, that would be like my managed trade level 1. So I'd be looking to take some profit there if we reach that zone, and potential like take the rest of my profit up at that zone if we continue up that high. That's like our previous strong resistance level. We had these strong sections up there, and it's sort of a bit of EQ down through here as well because we had this support zone as well. So that's sort of my ultimate end goal if I entered a long on a trade like that. But same thing, another ascending triangle that's broke to the upside. Plenty of them around at the moment. Lunar Classic, very sort of similar setup, ascending triangle. We've broken that resistance level. We retested a couple of times, came back, we've retested it. We're sort of testing if that's our new support zone at the moment. Bullish scenario, manage trade based off that previous structure there, and then take profit off that previous structure there. Sort of once again, EQ zone sort of through there. So another potential there, and LTC was another one. So this is just not my favorite setup, but we had a bit of a short-term trend here. We've broken that resistance level. We'll come back. We're sort of retesting at the moment. It's not very clean, but it's still definitely looking very bullish to me. We've reclaimed all of those EMAs. We're above all of the EMAs, including the 200. So on a 4-hour time frame, that's suggesting this coin's very bullish. But in saying that, like there's possibility of a deeper sort of retracement, given how far this has moved up without sort of any significant pullback. So just I'm keeping an eye on it, because LTC does sort of tend to do its own thing at the moment. So it could potentially be a decent long if we get a bit of a pump on BTC. So
Lewis, something that you're doing there that I do is making your longs and shorts 2 different colors. So when you're highlighting your list, you make your bullish ones green and your bearish ones red. Is that right?
That is correct. Yes.
Yeah. So I do the same, because sometimes you find one that could go one way and the rest of them go the other. So you want to kind of separate that one, just in case the market shifts in a certain direction. So Lewis is prepared for both ends. Also, mate, there's a question in the chat about the EMAs. What's your settings on your EMAs?
Yeah, cool. So I just use so the indicator I use is just called 4 EMA. So it's just this one by the Treasury. And then my setup for it, so I don't have the 12 enabled. That's more of a really short-term scale point I used to use. So I just use a 50, 200, and 800. So when I go to style, I've got the lowest one just disabled. So I've got that unticked so it doesn't show up on the chart. And then I've got 50, 200, and 800 set on whatever color you want, depending on what's easier to see. How do you use them? So they're essentially just dynamic levels of support and resistance. And as I sort of said with BTC earlier, so like you look at how Bitcoin's respected the EMA sort of zones here. So we've come up, our 50 EMAs acted essentially as like a resistance level through here. We've broken down, we've come back, we've retested it here. We've had a big pump up, and we've pumped up until we've hit the 200, the 200 EMA, and that's where we've rejected from. We've come back down, we've retested, we've found support right on top of the 50 EMA. So they're literally just dynamic support and resistance, just moving levels of support and resistance. Don't use them by themselves, as with any sort of trading. It's just another layer of confirmation that you can use when you're looking for entries or exits. Okay, so
Can I ask you a question, Lewis?
Yeah, mate. Yeah, go for it.
How come people use the 50, the 200, and also the 800? Why not the 50, the 200, and the 300? Or because I always notice like the 800 always seems really far away.
Yeah, it's just because how they work together. Like so the 200 is 4 times the 50, and the 800 is 4 times the 200. So they all have that sort of relationship where they're the same scale apart from each other. And yeah, obviously, like so when we talk about like a 50 or 200 or 800, that's how many candles back they're reading, for those that don't know. So like this blue one up here is our 800 EMA. So it's taken the average price of the previous 800 candles, and this is where that level is. And then 200 obviously is previous 200, 50 is previous 50. Yeah, Brody said it in the chat as well. If you're changing between time frames, 800 on the 15-minute is the same as the 200 on the 1 hour, because you think about how the amount of candles divides, you think about the relationship when you're changing between time frames. So those ones just work. They just work well together. In saying that, like there's a million different strategies for EMAs, a million different combinations for EMAs, different setups for like scalping. Like if you're scalping on like low time frames, there's like some crazy like 7 EMA strategy I was looking at. So I mean, if there's a specific strategy that you're looking at that uses different EMAs to this, then get amongst it, see how it works. But I've been using these for quite a while now, probably like six to 8 months, and I really like how they are respected. And they've helped. They definitely help me a lot with like extra layers of confirmation when they line up. So I really like using this setup that I have. And yeah, I don't really rely on anything lower than the 50. So I tick that bottom one off and just roll 50, 200, and 800. So
it's also one of those things that sometimes if you're just starting out, you're using support and resistance alone, and then you think, why did it reject there? Like, what's going on? And if you turn the EMA on, then you probably will see that it's respecting something there. So it's not something that you may want to leave on all the time. It's just something that you may want to just use to put on there, see what's happening, take it off, like use it how you will. But yeah, so just play around with it. I mean, Mick's in the chat telling me that he uses a 4, 9, and 18-minute EMA for 1 to 5 minute scalping. So, Mick's a scalper, and some of you guys are still trading on the daily. So just do it according to what works for you. I guess that's the take-home message.
Yeah, 100%. And there is a slight difference between, you've got just standard moving averages and exponential moving averages, and the general rule is like if you're using an exponential moving average, you'll be more reactive to recent sort of recent price data. So they're just generally a bit more reliable if you're using them as like a dynamic sort of support and resistance, especially as you go down into those lower time frames, they become even more reliable and exponential over just a standard moving average. So I've always liked the exponentials a bit more. I find them a bit more reliable. So
yeah,
I see what you mean. Yeah.
And
what did you say? 800 on the 15 is the same as 200 on the 1 hour. Is that what you said?
Correct. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So do you see how that works, Darren?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
Yeah.
I absolutely. Yeah, I'd never thought about it sort of, fitting into each other and,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, the best thing you can do is spend the time back testing. So using the replay button on your trading view, Lewis, while you got it up, you just want to show us a quick back test, like using the replay. So you just click the replay at the top, you go to where you want it to kind of start again, then you just press the play button and it'll literally just play as it played out. And what you're able to do there is you're able to stop it and put in short and long positions. You're able to look at where the EMA is going and what it's doing. You're able to kind of look. Yeah, I love it. Look at what you're what you're thinking that the coin may do based on your analysis, and you'll get a live, immediate feedback. It doesn't cost you anything. Gee, wouldn't that one be nice?
I wish.
So it's one of those things that you can use to your advantage. It's probably underrated with respect to a trading, within your education. I probably would be hard pressed to say, put in the chats if you've done it. Probably more than 5 people would probably say yes. Now, if you can't find that function, I believe that it's only available for Pro and above on TradingView. So if you've got the free version, that you may want to think about upgrading or steal someone else's password. But that was a joke, by the way, fell flat. Yeah, so just make sure that you are using what's available to you on TradingView. It's not just somewhere to draw some lines. There's a lot more to it. So jump in there and have a play around as a part of your learning stages. Lewis, did you have something special planned with respect to divergence? Or are you going to do that next week?
I'll do it another time. I don't want to.
Okay. Cool.
I don't want to spend too much time on it, but I might just touch on just broader market really quickly.
Just before, Lewis, I'm really sorry
to
interrupt.
Carry on.
I was just you at the beginning. You showed there was a indicator that you said you used. What was it called again? Was
that Ultimate Oscillator?
That's it. Ultimate Oscillator. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one for divergence. If you're going to trade with divergence, so Have a look into it and have a read about it.
Yeah,
Do a bit of your own study on it, because it's really good for divergence. But if I do a bit of a lesson on divergence next week, I'll go into it in a bit more detail, just how it works and how you can read it and that sort of stuff. But yeah, ultimate oscillator, that one is.
Thanks, man. Didn't mean to interrupt.
Yeah, so just really quickly, just broader market. So DXY, so our US dollar currency index, still at a bit of a critical level. So we've seen a bit of a pump in the crypto market because of the correlation. So we're setting this sort of bearish market structure on the DXY, which is why we've had a bit of a pump in crypto. Because that's how our correlation works. As DXY drops, Bitcoin and stuff increase. So we're at that critical level. If we get a bit of a rejection off here, then I'd expect another sort of leg up in crypto. Gold, because of that, the correlation between gold and US dollar, because US dollar's losing value, gold's increasing in value. So I've been in a pretty good long on gold if you're trading any commodities or anything like that. Just following this trend up. Same thing, I'll close out of this position if we get a bit of a pump on the DXY. So that's gold. That's what I'm watching. Just looking at the total crypto market cap, we're also at a bit of a pivotal point. So we're at $805 billion in our crypto market cap at the moment. We're retesting this level. So we're in this we've been in this downtrend essentially since November 21. This trend that we've been honoring. We found a bit of a bottom. We went sideways here. We hit that trend again, and we had another dive. And we've sort of dropped below that support level, and we're retesting it again at the moment. So this is quite a pivotal sort of area as well for crypto market cap. So something else I'm just keeping an eye on, just to see how much money is flowing out of crypto. It's always good to know. And then the one other thing I just look at is S&P. Like it's just honoring this trend just to a T. It's beautiful. It's like artwork. So we've just had our fourth retest on this downtrend that we've been in since December last year. So share markets hurting, all of everything sort of just slowly bleeding. And this all sort of relates to inflation and all that sort of stuff as well. So still definitely in a very sort of bearish market overall. You know, I don't know how many of you follow like all the news around crypto and that sort of stuff, but you hear people saying, you know, is this the bottom and that sort of stuff? Nobody knows. Based off what I'm seeing on the charts, everything's still looking really bearish. So I'm not confident that we're in any sort of uptrending market yet. Like, I mean, you have rallies in a market. That's exactly what this is to me. We're having a bit of a bullish rally in a bear market still, essentially. Like, that's what we see here on the grand scheme of things. Isn't enough, you know, to say to me that market's reversed. Now we're in, you know, bull mode. It's nothing really in the grand scale of things. So just trade what you see on the market. So how do you get rid of the gaps in the S&P chart? It's just the chart that I use. This Oanda chart doesn't tend to show gaps, unless I think if I will go on lower time frames, I think it does. Sometimes. No, this one's pretty good. This, because I don't really like the gaps in the S&P chart. I prefer just to see it as raw data. So the one I use is the Oanda one, the index CFD on Oanda, and it tends to not have any gaps. So but yeah, that's pretty much all I got at the moment. All the stuff.
That's cool. There's a couple of questions about divergence in the chat. We might spend a bit of time on that next week, because the time's just marching on today. So Matt, if you want to have a look in the hub, mate, and do that lesson. And Lewis actually told me throughout the week that he was going to do something either this week or next on divergence. So we'll make sure that we touch base on that. Gabriella's asked about money flow index. Lewis, are you familiar with the money flow index indicator? I'm not. So
no, can't say anyone used it. Sorry.
Is anyone out there familiar with that one? And if so, feel free to turn your microphone on. If not, I'll do some research throughout the week and we'll get back to you on that one, Gabriella. No one? Okay, good.
Isn't that the index that has something to do with money flow?
Well, she's saying that it's got to do with momentum and volume. Now, I wouldn't mind money flowing straight into my wallet, but sometimes it flows the other way. So, but look, it's time to throw open to the people. Has anyone out there got anything they want to share? A chart, something that they might want us to look at? Anyone for anyone. This only works if we all participate.
The moment of truth.
Yes. So Lewis and I kind of have shared what we've been looking at today. You know, feel free to open. Don't be scared. It's just us. We're just two dudes.
Questionable, but
well, it's all right. No one's got anything they want to have a look at. Here's one. Here's something. Oh, Brody's got to go. I thought he was going to put something in. Can you teach me support resistance? Yeah, no worries. Just you go and have fun in the other chat and we'll talk about it while you're gone. So it's one of those ones that, look, guys, this is your chance. If you've got a chart that you're thinking about, you might want to get some feedback on. Now's your moment. Everyone's been a bit quiet the last couple of weeks, Lewis.
I don't know why.
No.
We're easy going dudes.
I got a chart just for.
Here we go, Phil. Come on down, Phil.
AUD Japanese yen.
Oh, yep.
Should I share screen?
Yeah. Do you want to share? Or just share? Chuck her up.
Just give me one sec.
That pair too. I like trading that pair.
Can you see?
Yep.
Yeah, so I was just sort of like we've got kind of like a lower low and then a possible lower high. We've got like a break and retest as well because we got the recent support here, hopefully turning into resistance. It's not a full 2-to-1. I'm just doing sort of 1.8 to 1, but like in my trade plan, 1.8 is kind of my minimum. We've got like a bearish engulfing candle here. We've kind of got like a bear flag coming up to that level. It's 32.8, I think, as well, in fib level. Longer term, it's sort of coming down like it. Oh, actually, just give me one sec. Let me get rid of this. I got a few lines, but
that's all right.
Here it is. Like this sort of trend line broke, and like I guess even if you draw it here, it's broken. So like it kind of had a big run up and then kind of had like a fake out here. It was creating a high, and then it pulled back the whole move. And then it created kind of like a lower high, and then I'm hoping it's coming back down now to pull back maybe down to here a bit further. But yeah, I kind of just want to catch this move if I can.
Yeah, I think you've drawn it right. I would also be looking at even once if that take profit hits. If I was you, if it falls through that support line, I'd be looking to take it again.
It could be moved up like a tad.
It could just be retesting. You could also go long out of the bottom. So yeah, I think you've drawn it up right.
Yeah, so I was just trying to get like this move, but if that breaks, I think we're like going down like to wherever the next.
Yeah, potentially.
Maybe sort of there, and then I haven't like drawn my levels properly between these two yet.
Yeah.
But there's not really heaps here. But yeah, like I'm just trying to get that one little move. So
yeah. No, I think it's worth a go.
I think that's a good little setup. The only thing, like I sort of watched the fundamentals a little bit with the currencies, and you got GDP tomorrow at 10:30 for the AUD. So
okay,
could potentially have a little bit of an impact on it, depending what it sort of shows in the data. But I agree with your analysis. So like I had that charted up yesterday. I've sort of been watching that just downtrend as well. I'm waiting for a bit of a short entry as well, but just been patient at the moment.
Also, if you're wondering why Lewis is so knowledgeable, then if you go to the Forex Factory, which is in the chats, you can actually see when the news is going to happen that may influence the market. So it's just worth bookmarking and having a look at as you go. Lewis doesn't make this stuff up. He gets it from somewhere, right?
You gave away my trade secret, Damo. How could you?
I know.
You told everyone I'm Batman.
So yeah, so feel free to use that, and you know the red ones are significant to significant news with respect to the GDP. So that's what Lewis is saying. It's coming up tomorrow. So yeah. So John, is there any more questions on that one, Phil? Are you happy with that?
No, that was what I just wanted to see if you guys were seeing sort of the same thing and like the same kind of setup.
Yeah, like I said, I'd definitely reassess it off that support line as to if it goes long, I'd take it. If it goes short, I'd take it again. So, or just leave the trade live.
Yeah.
I like that. That's good.
Yeah, it is a good one. John, what do you got, mate? Thanks, Lewis. Thanks, Phil, for sharing that one, mate.
That's all right.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes, we got you.
Yeah, cool.
Daniel, can you just let us know what time frame you're looking at on Mana? You can have a look.
Okay, can you see that?
Yep.
Okay, so yeah, this is just something I've just picked up on now, really. Just to add to the chat, I just picked a coin and just charted this up now. So this is for Ren. We've got this this falling wedge of this uptrend. And we've got a few touches at the end of the wedge that seem to be respecting this support line here, which looking left comes back to here. Now, with respect to a possible position, would you come off of the support line, wait for it to break and retest off the support line, or would you wait for it to come off of the wedge itself? So would you go by the wedge or would you go by the support line?
I'd personally wait for the break of the wedge and just that extra layer of confirmation, because realistically you're looking at that and it's still setting bearish market structure, because you know you're on that candle at the moment that could still potentially close lower. How long do you have before that? Like you still got half an hour for that candle close there. You could still be forming lower market structure there. So
I would bring your entry point above the zone. If you're going long, just bring so entry point should be more above the zone, not too far above the zone. It can be in line with the zone, but if you've got your entry point on support, you're just going to change the position. So what I would definitely do is, like Lewis said, wait for it to get out of that rectangle now and see what happens. It may kick up, and if it does, then wait for a retest and take it. 10% is a pretty decent, generous kind of trade. So just be conscious of the size of that trade. You may want to just come back to where it's been consolidating almost 3/4 of the way up. So that just bring that down in line with that structure. Something more like that. So 6 to 7% is probably a more realistic target area than 10. Look, if it continues, you can pull your take profit and keep going, but so that wedge and might coincide with that support line, but you're just gonna have to see where that one goes. It's a tough one to kind of, but I definitely wouldn't be entering that for a long until it's outside of that rectangle.
There's just not enough confirmation that that's going bullish yet there for me.
Okay, cool.
Hang on, I'll just double check. So I'll just share this one. John, you happy with that one? Thanks for sharing.
Yeah, that's cool. Thanks. No worries. I'll stop sharing.
I'm looking at screen number 13. So this is a Mana on the 1 hour that Daniel's asked us to have a look at. So this one is rising. It's broken the resistance line, come back through it, broken it again, come back. So this is an area there where you're going to have to make a decision, I guess. So he's talking long. It's pretty good with respect to it bouncing. You just definitely want to wait for this 27 minutes to see where this candle is going to close. If this candle closes down here, then it'll change your position or change your scenario. If it closes up here, then again you've got that potentially long, because it's bounced three times. So it could go like this, or it could come back through here and retest and come this way. So just wait 27 minutes, Daniel. That's what I'd tell you to do. So yeah, don't get too excited and enter it now, because there's just too much happening. Often when this happens and it comes to a point in the triangle and a support and resistance line kind of coincides, it is decision time. But people can make the mistake of just getting in too early, or people make the mistake of setting their position right on support, where it should just kind of be up a little bit further. Obviously some real analysis would need to happen here, like with respect to rectangles and all that kind of stuff. If you're looking for a short position, how far low do you go? Previous market structure sits there. So is your position able to be, or is your trading plan able to be met according to your position size? So it's one of those ones that you've just got to make sure that you are indeed following your trading plan. And if the trade doesn't work, don't bother with it. It doesn't matter. I mean, there's always another trade. There's always another opportunity. So if it doesn't quite fit your trading plan and it doesn't quite go to plan according to what you want it to do, or if you miss your entry, then that's okay. Don't walk around kicking stones for a week. Just get back on the horse and go again. So, long on mana, maybe. His chat looks like this. His analysis. Can you guys see that one? So, can you see that one?
Yep.
Yeah.
So the analysis looks like this, according to Daniel. So he's got, similar. But see where that triangle, he's kind of drawn his trend line slightly different, but tells the same kind of story, and that it's going to bounce off that support line. So it could, though, if you're looking at that right on the tail, that could be a change in market structure. So it's come up and it's creating a lower high here. So that could be a change in market structure, which could mean a bearish push. So just like I said, just wait, be patient with that one. Yeah,
I sort of see it as a bit of a rising wedge.
Yeah.
But yes,
all right.
Wait and see.
Is there anyone from anything else? We've got a couple of minutes if anyone wants to use it. Steve's turning on his aircon or swatting flies, one or the other. You guys that went to Dubai, how was it? Pretty good. Anyone want to tell us about that one? Greg's thumbs up. Happy days. Doesn't want to tell us what goes on tour stays on tour, eh? I love it. I can only imagine, mate, what that would have looked like for you. You would have been in your element. Congratulations, my friend, on taking the steps to make that happen for your life. All right. So, Lewis, if there's nothing else from anywhere else, we might have to say goodnight.
Yeah, I think that might wrap her up.
Yeah, Darren, I appreciate you jumping on, my friend. Lewis and I always love guests. So if any of you guys are sitting there thinking, I'd like to do what Darren did tonight, please feel free and reach out and send me a DM. I'm always looking to make contact with people, get to know them. And as a result of Darren volunteering for this, him and I actually spoke on the phone on Zoom today for about 2.5 hours. It was really nice to get to know you, mate. And you make friends by doing this, and it's one of those things that the more you put yourself out there, the more exposure you get, and the more your confidence rises. So truly appreciate on behalf of Lewis and myself, Darren, I truly appreciate you taking the step to do it, mate. And for your feedback, we do appreciate it. I hope that Luna trade comes good for you. And for all you guys that shared tonight, thank you for being brave and putting everything up there. And to Lewis, pleasure, mate. It's always a pleasure.
Pleasure, Damo.
But yeah, so feel free to like and subscribe to this page, guys. Little big fat red button down there in the corner. And yeah, we'll see you all next week.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone. Cheers.
Cheers.
See ya.